said that before Red Fox got to Las Vegas, it was all Candyman City. The hell that mean? You throwing shade at the Sammy Davis Jr.? What the hell did Sammy Davis do to you, Eddie Griffin? What the hell he do to you? And Eddie Griffin, that nigga look like he didn't survive the crack years. Hello there, love bugs. Hello there, bellas. If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share to Facebook, subscribe, and visit uptopbeauty.com. Today's lookies would be our ultimate animal print turban and our 640 bar ring. The turban comes with a free gift as usual. And the 640 bar ring, whether it's gold or silver, I think it's $13 now. And if you are not already a part of our book club, please hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube. And for a small monthly fee of $5, you babies, yes, y'all can be privy to all the shenanigans before the YouTube gets it, if the YouTube gets it. Now, let's talk about another Sagittarius. Ooh, it's just something about a Sagittarian man that this book club loves. I think it's the recklessness of the Negroes. Let's talk about Red Fox. Red Fox was born John Elroy Sanford on December 8th, 1922. In St. Louis, Missouri, and raised on Chicago's South Side. His father, Fred Sanford, an electrician and auto mechanic from Hickman, Kentucky, left the family when Fox was only 4 years old. His relationship with his mother was strained, leaving him to fend for himself while he was young. Red Fox said that he was so poor that the poor people called him poor. How's that happening? But that's poor. And it caused Red Fox to learn very quickly how to maneuver and get over. In order to help his mother and brother financially while living in Chicago, he and some of his friends decided to organize a singing group called the Bonbons, or the Four Bonbons. What Red Fox said he would do is sing and tell jokes. Kind of like what B00ger is. Or when I learned that he was a singer of the Four Bonbons, I said, oh, that explains a lot. Because when he was on Sanford and Son, whenever he would have opportunities where he would showcase his voice, I was impressed. I was like, oh, that's a good sounding raspy mother hunchy. Now, I don't know what's in his throat and why he sound like that. Come to find out it was the potted donuts and maybe some of the alcohol. But his voice was very raspy and sexy. Fox dropped out of Decibel High School in the Chicago Bronzeville neighborhood at 16. Expected. He's 16 years old and ain't like his mother can tap him on the shoulder and say to him, boy, go to school. He's claiming that he's raising himself. Mama can't step in and say, little boy, go to school. Bonbons. Ain't that like a vanilla ice cream dipped in chocolate? Is that what? I don't get that connotation. Or it's like associated with, a housewife sitting back watching soap operas all day eating the bonbons. Four Bonbons decided that they was going to head to New York because right here in Chicago, this ain't happening. It is, but maybe not for them. Okay? So they hop on board a freight train to get to New York. When they got to New Jersey, the railroad authorities was waiting for Red Foxx and them other three bonbons, okay? Now, Red Foxx was able to get away, right? He caught a ferry to Harlem, New York. Baby, it's popping. Now, one of Red Foxx's VP of his corporations, that looked like old shiesty mother Hunchy too. You know, he looked like he done put a couple of in the ground. You know who else was in the Red Foxx Unsung Hollywood episode? That dude who used to be the bodyguard for Richard Pryor. What is it? Rashawn Khan. I know that nigga didn't put a couple of bodies in the ground. Sorry. Now, one of Red Foxx's VPs says that Red's desires pushed him to the streets. In the 1940s, not yet, Red Foxx met Malcolm Little, later known as Malcolm X, also named Detroit Red. In Malcolm's autobiography, Foxx is referred to as Chicago Red, the funniest dishwasher on earth. He earned the nickname because of his reddish hair and complexion. So I must say, thinking about Malcolm X and Red Foxx rolling around here having a good time, smoking the wacky weed, catching convictions together is intriguing to me. This right here knocked me out, okay? Not yet Red Foxx was able to escape the World War II draft because his brother told him to eat a bar of soap. That eating a bar of soap would cause heart palpitations, and they don't want no parts of you when you got no heart palpitations, because just in case you got out there, we don't need you to have a heart attack. In 1942, Red caught his big break in Baltimore as an MC. He was very successful. While in Baltimore, he already had his nickname Red. Remember, Chicago Red. And Malcolm X was Detroit Red. Like a Sagittarian man, the ladies love him. They used to call him Mr. Foxy, hence Red Foxx. But in order to make it sexier, he put an extra D on the red and an extra X on the Fox. In 1947, Red teamed up with Melvin Slappy White and became a fixture at the Apollo Theater. So you know he doing something big, okay? If the Apollo Theater, them fickle mothers, okay? If the Apollo Theater embraces Red Foxx, then he is on his way. He just ain't at the Apollo Theater because, you know, he need to make his name countrywide. You can't just be big here. You got to be big everywhere. So now he is on a chitlin circuit. And we done read plenty of books where we have found that a lot of black artists did not get paid while on the chitlin circuit because it was anything around there. Oh, you okay. You want to perform? Okay, you can perform. I decide later if you good enough to pay. Now, when we read the Richard Pryor book, Richard Pryor say it was plenty of G's out there who thought that it was funny not to pay the acts. Richard Pryor was like, no, that ain't gonna happen to me. And it didn't happen to Red Foxx either. Red Foxx would not perform unless he got his money up front. Ooh. Later, Red Foxx and Melvin Slappy White would open for Dinah Washington in California for a steady 4 years. Listen to me. Red Foxx married 4 times, okay? His first marriage was to Evelyn Killebrew in 1948. The marriage ended in 1951. Okay, I guess, you know, I guess she was sick of his ass because you got too many bitches out here. The thing about Sagittarian men is understand this. They collect beautiful things. And the beautiful things that they love to collect is women. Beautiful women. Whether it be their face, their heart, their spirit, their glow, their energy, they collect beautiful things. That's just them. That's just how they move. Okay? Know this about a Sagittarian man. If you find one that gets married, okay? Know this. Don't be in your feelings because he's cheating on you. Know that the denominator stays the same, but the numerator changes frequently. No. The two, meaning Melvin and Red, parted ways in 1952, but Red continued his solo comedic career. He wouldn't come straight out and say nasty things, right? He would imply nasty things. Kind of like Three's Company. Remember Three's Company with Jack, Janet, and Chrissy? I'm going to the left again. I'm sorry. I'm going to try. But remember that sitcom Three's Company, it was like, it was so much implied hunching, but it wasn't no hunching going on. You know what I'm saying? So Red Fox's comedy was initially like that. But here go Bill Cosby's bitch ass, okay? And what he said was, Red only implied nasty things. Richard Pryor said nasty things. Bitch, and you did nasty things, motherfucker. It was just you did it behind closed doors. That shit's caught up with you, too. You can't be around here giving all these girls Benadryl, okay? Thinking that they gonna be okay with that. You can't tell me that he ain't doing it, because that was something that they did all the time back then. It wasn't till like within like the past 10 years that it was actually deemed inappropriate to date a girl and whoop a bitch's ass. In 1955, Miss Jean, that would be his second wife, Miss Betty Jean Foxx, okay? She was smitten by Mr. Red Foxx. She was in a group singing, okay? Red Foxx rolled up on her. Oh, a Sagittarius. Oh, I hate you niggas. Red Foxx rolled up on her and was like, listen, I'm gonna give you a week to get yourself together because I want to marry you. All right? In a week, you let me know what you want to do. He would have had me. What you gonna do? You gonna marry me? Or you gonna stay a square? What you gonna do? I'ma marry you, Red. Next minute you know they married. Also in 1955, Dootsy Williams of the Dutone Records caught his act at the Brass Rail nightclub and offered Red Foxx $25 to record him. The name of the album was Laugh of the Party. It was sold discreetly. It was taboo. You know, it was kind of like a guilty pleasure. Nobody wanted to let nobody know that they got a chuckle out of listening to dirty stuff. Okay? I mean, Dutone released 35 of Red Fox's records. Foxx was one of the first black comics to play to white audiences on the Las Vegas Strip. Eddie Griffith, girl, I caught that shade, girl. So when I was watching the Unsung Hollywood while doing my research for Red Foxx, Eddie Griffin was one of the commentators, okay? He said that before Red Foxx got to Las Vegas, it was all Candyman City. The hell that mean? You throwing shade at the Sammy Davis Jr.? What the hell did Sammy Davis do to you, Eddie Griffith? What the hell he do to you? You know, and Eddie Griffith, that nigga look like he didn't survive the crack years. He is there in Las Vegas enjoying the atmosphere. He got plenty of women. He gambling, so synonymous with the Sagittarian men, women and gambling, okay? He's indulging in alcohol and boogity sugarity. Speaking of gambling, boogity sugarity, and drinking, okay? What we learned while reading is so fundamental. What we learned while reading the Etta James book, Rage to Survive, we learned that a lot of those people that were working in Las Vegas were actually paying off debts. Now, we know that Red Foxx has his own nightclub because when we read Richard Pryor, we found out that Red Foxx gave Richard Pryor a lot of work in his nightclub. Again, Bill Cosby, they're hating, oh, the Richard Pryor has a potty mouth. I don't know. Richard Pryor is not on stage. He at the table with Red Foxx doing the boogity sugarity Olympics, okay? They trying to fight for the same girls and see who can do the most booger sugar before they pass out and die, okay? These are the fools of recklessness. Sitting down at the table, I can get her. She don't want you, she want me. Both of them got wives at home, okay? But they over here fighting for the same damn girl while eating potted donuts. And Richard Pryor also said that Red Foxx ran his nightclub like a goon, okay? If he found out that some shenanigans was going on, he would send his peoples over there to whoop ass. Rashawn Khan, was you whooping ass? Was you around there whooping ass in the nightclub? Because Rashawn Khan was a bodyguard for both Richard Pryor and Red Foxx, okay? Rashawn Khan was also the man who is married to a black woman who said that Quentin Tarantino said, "Could I squeeze your boobies?" Okay, that's how I know that Quentin Tarantino ain't no good either. Okay, but you ninjas say, I wonder why they took what's the white man name, Weinstein, down, but they ain't take down Quentin Tarantino yet, because he's running his nightclub like a goon. Okay, you can't do that. You can't run your nightclub. You can't muscle people out of money. You can't beat people up every time you don't get what you want. You can't do that. What you do is you fire them, not fight them. Club is in trouble. So what he did was go to Bill Cosby, bitch ass, and say, "Hey, Bill, hey. Listen, I need some help with my club. Won't you go in half with me? Won't you invest into me?" Bill Cosby said, "No problem. But if I catch some booger sugar up in here, I don't want no parts of it." Red Fox said, "Sure." Bill Cosby said, "Get my money up out of this bitch." In 1970, the club was no more. Moving forward, in the early 70s, he is working with Flip Wilson on the Flip Wilson Show. He performing in Las Vegas. Norman Lear there. The great white man of the black sitcoms, okay? He there in Vegas watching Red Fox. Hallelujah. Fox achieved his most widespread fame starring in the television sitcom Sanford and Son, an adaptation of the BBC series Steptoe and Son. Fox played the role of Fred G. Sanford, which is a combination of his father's name and his brother's name, because remember, Red Fox's real name is John Elroy Sanford. Co-star Demond Wilson played the role of his son, Lamont. In this sitcom, Fred and Lamont were owners of a junk salvage store in Watts, California, who dealt with many humorous situations. The series was notable for its racial humor and overt prejudices, which helped redefine the genre of black situation comedies. Thank you to the Norman Lear. The series premiered on the NBC television network on January 14th, 1972. Bubba, Leroy, and Skillet. You know, them little dirty men, you know, that he used to be with and get into shenanigans with on Sanford and Son. Now, let me say something. I called them men little dirty men. Fred Sanford looked like an old dirty old man while he was on Sanford and Son. But baby, you catch that man on stage, suited and booted. Ooh! So let me ask y'all something. Do you think just because Red Fox is not on stage at the Apollo Theater or what is that, Las Vegas Strip, that he ain't round the table eating potted donuts with his friends? That's a no. That ninja is into the donuts, and guess who bringing them? That goddamn LaWanda Page. Yes, Esther. You got Lamont doing the potted donuts, okay? He been talked about that. You got Fred Sanford doing the potted donuts. He talked about that. What else they talked about was LaWanda Page bringing the potted donuts to the goddamn set. Now you got the kings of NBC, Red Fox and Demond Wilson. Okay, shouts to the visa to Demond Wilson, but we know Red Fox is a bad motherfucker. Okay, Demond, what did he do after Sanford and Son? Maybe he did some theater. I know that he did The Odd Couple with Ron Glass and him doing the black version of The Odd Couple. Remember the original Odd Couple with it was, I think the movie was Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau. And then you had the series with Tony Randall and, what is it, Jack Klugman? Is it Klugman? Something like that. Was it, who's the guy? Jack Klugman. I think it's Klugman, y'all. But anyway, Demond Wilson ended up doing a version of The Odd Couple with Ron Glass. You have Red Fox and Demond Wilson becoming the kings of NBC, right? Now, as usual, you got white people writing for black sitcoms. That will always be a concern, because how do you know what's funny to us? Okay? Whenever Red Fox was presented with a script that did not make sense, he would correct them. He had enough power to do it. You know, when you are the kings of NBC, then you could say, no, we would never say this. Take this back. I don't talk like that. In 1974, 29 million people were tuning in to Sanford and Son. Now, at the start of the third season, Red Fox was making $10,000 per episode. Let me tell you what happened. Carl O'Connor, Archie Bunker, is making $30,000 per episode. See, this is why your employers don't want you to talk about how much money you make. Because if you ninjas sit around a table and start talking about how much money y'all getting paid, then next minute you know everybody want to get paid the same thing. And this is America. This ain't no communist country. Everybody ain't about to get paid the same thing. We gonna pay you what we think you should be paid. Fred Sanford walked off. Oh, you need to pay me something close to what you pay Archie Bunker. Okay, it worked. He missed 4 episodes, and then the peoples called him. Hey, Red, what you doing? Mm-hmm. Now we're not gonna give you 30 because you know, you're not white, so we can't give you the 30. But what we can do is give you the 25. Will you come back, Red? Yeah, I'll come back. Now, remember when we was talking earlier about how Red Fox was on the chilling circuit and he wasn't playing with them goons who was trying to G him out his money? So he went up to the goons and said, you need to pay me my money up front in cash, okay? Red Fox utilized that same procedure with Sanford and Son. Sanford and Son, Norman Lear, Negroes. How you gonna get this man a suitcase full of money every week? What? See, Red Fox in his mind thought that if I get it in cash, they won't know. Red Fox, just because you don't report it don't mean that NBC won't report it. NBC is going to report it, child. They trying to keep their money together. It's you that's trying to duck the tax man, not the NBC. So whatever money they give to you, they going to tell the tax man. Tax man, I don't owe this much money because I gave Red Fox $20,000 or $25,000 a week in his pocket in cash every week for 52 weeks. One of Red Fox's assistants had said on the Unsung episode that Red Fox was very moody. Child, that was probably bipolar or boogity sugar. Okay, because you know them potted donuts can make you paranoid. What the assistant said was, for years, dealing with him and his moods, he would call his friends down to the set of Sanford and Son, and depending on his mood would depend on whether or not he would treat his friends good or bad. The friends then traveled to the show, and if he ain't in the mood for them, then you ask your friends to come down to the show. When they get there, you don't even want to talk to them because you're in a bad mood. Please. Now, he beating on Miss Jean. Okay, Miss Betty Jean. That's the second wife. Right? She was like, I tried to stay with him, child, but he just kept jumping on me. You know, that's what older black women say when it comes down to he couldn't keep his hands off of me. And she was like, so I had to leave. She divorced his ass in 1975. So Miss Betty Jean got rid of his ass. Now, the next year in 1976, he marries Miss Joy Fox, okay? I don't know exactly where she's from, but I do know that she is Asian, okay? And she was very beautiful. In 1977, Red Fox grew tired of being scraggly old Fred Sanford. He getting older. The ladies ain't looking at him like how they used to look at him when he was tender. Okay? So one day, Red Fox woke up and said, I don't want to do this no more. Shaved his head, shaved his face. He's smooth. Man, Fred Sanford is an old, grumpy, grouchy, crotchety, old black man. Okay? So he like, I'm done with this Fred Sanford stuff. I want some vagina and I want some young one. Okay? And this Fred Sanford persona is standing in the way between me and some young vagina, although I'm married. September 15th, 1977, we have the Red Fox Comedy Hour. He's able to show his smooth self. He's getting money again. The problem is that variety shows were going out. Okay? People don't want to see the same nigga bounce around and do stuff. The Red Fox Comedy Hour was pulled on the 4th episode. Now he's back on stage. But remember when I told you that his potty mouth wasn't exactly a potty mouth? He was just doing innuendos. But he back on stage now, and his mouth is terrible. Now we in the 80s, okay? The 80s, right? And remember his lavish lifestyle, the boogity sugary, the women, the alcohol, the gambling, all that shit has caught up to him, okay? The IRS is on his neck, right? Remember the second wife, Miss Betty Jean? She divorced him. He got to pay her, okay? Because you ain't going to be able to just do whatever it is you want to do and not have to pay the piper. You didn't put your hands on me, now you're going to pay, okay? Now his current wife, Miss Joy, is divorcing him too, and now you got to pay her. So between the tax people on his neck and his two wives that he was probably cheating on the whole time, I don't know. I wasn't there, okay? But the fact that Richard Pryor said that him and Red Fox, both married men, are competing for the same women at the club, I mean, come on, the infidelity is apparent. He has no wife, big problems, big money problems, okay? And 2 flopped shows, NBC, Sanford, and ABC's The Red Fox Show. They don't want a part of him no more, okay? The world is so fickle. In 1983, he filed for bankruptcy with proceedings continuing at least through to 1989. The IRS filed tax liens against Red Fox's property for income taxes he owed for the years 1983 to 1986. Agents also seized $12,769 in cash and a dozen guns, including a semi-automatic pistol. What do you need that for, Foxy? Among some 300 items in total, reportedly leaving only Fox's bed. Foxx owed more than $3.6 million in taxes. Wait a minute. This is the part that knocks me out. When the IRS comes in and starts seizing property, you can't tell me that by the time they get finished seizing all the properties, the tax debt is not completed. In 1989, we have Harlem Nights. Thank you to the Eddie Murphy G's. Now, you know, on Harlem Nights, Red Fox and Della Reese's dynamic was superb. Them two played off each other very well. The crowd loved Della Reese and Red Fox so much that they decided to take it from the movie screen to the television screen. Hence, the royal family. Now, he has married again for the 4th time, Coho Cho Foxx. Now, on October 11th, 1991, during a break from rehearsal for the royal family, Foxx suffered a heart attack on the set. According to Della Reese, Foxx was chatting with a reporter from Entertainment Tonight. Damn, some people say it was the Lifestyles of Rich and Famous. The unsung episode said Lifestyles of Rich and Famous. I don't know if they the same mother hunchies. I don't know. The scene he was supposed to be in was not ready to shoot, and Foxx and Reese were practicing. In fact, Foxx had no lines in the scene at all. As Reese said, all he had to do was walk behind the back of my chair. While Foxx was giving the interview, one of the producers entered the stage and asked where he was. Reese told him, and the producer responded by grabbing Foxx and taking him into the set, saying, if he's supposed to be in the scene, he shouldn't be here. Reese said that this was another in the long line of disputes Foxx had with the producers, including an instance where one claimed he could teach Foxx to be funny. See what happens when you do not respect your elders. I'm not going to, blame Red Fox's death on the producer, because he could have easily died underneath of a bitch, okay? Easily, right? Because you can't tell me that Red Foxy wasn't taking the Viagra, okay? Or some kind of, ED medication.
Foxx, right? Irate, did what he was supposed to do. However, he fell to the floor immediately after doing so. Reese said that nobody initially suspected anything was wrong. Foxx, after all, was famous for having Fred Sanford fake heart attacks on Sanford and Son, and was particularly skilled at pratfalls. Reese went to the floor when Foxx did not immediately rise and heard him say, "Get my wife." Reese called the paramedics.
On October the 11th, 1991, Foxx suffered a heart attack on the set. After paramedics were called, he was revived briefly at the hospital, but ultimately the heart attack was terminal. Foxx's estate was left in disarray. One, because didn't nobody want to be bothered with all that debt. I applaud the man for trying to do the right thing in the end. Now, if you have not already done so, please remember to like, share to Facebook, subscribe, and visit uptopbeauty.com. Now, remember this. The same people that you meet on the way up will always be the same people that you meet on the way down. My naysayers, my patron loves you babies. Have a good one. Peace.